Hiking is so simple. It's really just walking, but in nature. Typically, you're carrying a backpack with the provisions that you need for that certain adventure. And I've been doing a lot of hiking recently, and I've also been doing a lot of thinking about how everyone's thing is more. More money, more followers, more travels, more, insert the thing that will finally make you eternally happy. What if we started asking ourselves, how can we enjoy this season of life that we are in and not want more, but to live better within what we have? And where does hiking come into all of this? So anyone can drive to a cool lookout point, take a photo, post it on all their social platforms, and then go speeding down the peak to the next cool viewpoint. But with hiking, you are living life at 3 miles an hour. The scenery is coming at you a lot slower, and you are able to take in what's going on around you. And we're really just in such a rush to get to the next location, the next cool thing, the next thing that'll make me happy. I'll be happy when I make this amount or when I'm living at this location. Why can't we just enjoy the hike that we are on? Envision a map. You're just so fixated on literally viewing the map so close. Can't even see me. I can't even see what's going on around me because I'm so fixated on where I want to be or where I'm not. And this is what happens with life. And really, this is why you have to be intentional with installing rhythms into your life of just slowing down. Because those rhythms will really essentially keep you grounded and also be your metaphorical map of knowing that you are actually on the right path, right where you belong, and you don't need to be anywhere else. And even if you're looking at someone else's life, say you're on Instagram and people are literally posting their peak of their life. That is just a highlight reel, and you're also looking at someone else's map. While someone might be driving on a road, you might actually be on a backcountry trail, and they need a different map, you need a different map, and you need to stop comparing. And you need to realize that you're not actually lost, you're not on the wrong path or on the wrong trail. You're looking at their map, you're looking at your map, comparing the two, and they're so drastically different. This next part's going to be offensive to some of you. Think about it. What's a healthy weekend? 6 hours of Netflix, 2 hours on TikTok, maybe go on Twitter, grab a drink, dull the senses, or insert whatever your favorite vice is to dull your actual feelings. Now, the world would tell you binge watching your favorite show on Netflix is actually the best way of finding rest, but your brain is not actually allowed to rest when you're doing this because you're just putting a Band-Aid on a metaphorical bullet hole of a wound. That is your mind just running amok with today's worries. But if you go on a hike like this, your brain will naturally begin to rest. Take this hike for example. It's about 20 minutes away from my house, and if you decide to brave the cold weather, wake up a bit early, you can get views like this. I really like little peaks like this, right in the middle of a busy town. Kind of adds perspective and makes everything seem small and far away because it kind of is. It's peaceful. Feels like literally no time really passes up here, or at really any peak. Your mind is allowed to rest. Now I can already hear you. You're throwing out excuses like it's too early, it's too cold, and that's actually the point. Now you might be thinking, why would anyone want to put themselves through suffering like this? But life will actually be met with quite a bit of suffering if you have not noticed. And as much as you'd like to try, you really can't run from it. And as much as hiking is a physical activity, it's actually a very mentally challenging. I was in Zion hiking the Narrows top down. In preparation, we checked the map. It was roughly a 16-mile hike all downhill since it was a slot canyon. All right, starting the Narrows hike. What time is it?
7:37.
7:37? We're all hyped, so I'm sure that'll change throughout the day though. Not gonna lie, I'm a little nervous. Just for the fact I'm carrying all my camera gear. Got some anxiety, but I think it'll be okay. shot's gonna be worth it.
We plan to do it in one day and make it back in time for the final bus to our camp, or we were walking another 8 miles on top of the 16. Easy day, I thought, as I put on my wetsuit booties and special water boots on my feet, grabbing my stick, which was essential to this hike, as there was rushing water in the canyon and river rock ranging from the size of a fist to basketballs.
We're here.
Gentlemen, wide is the path that leads to destruction, narrow is the path that leads to life, and only a few find it. And high five somebody next to you, because we just found it. Narrow path, fellas.
We're on it.
The first 3 miles were a breeze as the canyon was wide and easy, and as we went on, the canyon slowly narrowed. The water grew deeper and quicker. Our legs, specifically our ankles, were beginning to feel the toll of the cold water and shifting river rock.
We are quite a few hours in, and I'm not gonna lie, I'm pretty dead. I don't even think it's been much longer. How long have we been hiking? Jeez, 6.5 hours. So, still got quite a bit to go. Yeah, 12 miles in, so definitely feeling it. The ankles hurt. There, you just keep getting rolled like 24/7. But the views are insane.
But we didn't talk much about our problems in the canyon. We all knew we were experiencing the same adventure. We were in this together, and though we at times looked down at our feet because of the pain we were in, we were often looking up at the indescribable canyon that we were walking in, knowing we had each other to lean on when things got tough.
All right, we're basically almost done. Gotta be close. But like we said, one more mile, like 5 miles back. Everything hurts. Got, yep, that's Jason behind me. I couldn't see. We're hyped, but I'm dead. I'm very, very, very tired. I don't know how I did this.
This was arguably the most brutal, physically taxing, mentally draining, dangerous, yet beautifully stunning hikes I have ever done. It rivals the peaks because of the suffering that was done down in the canyon. I can now enjoy this peak, or this one, or even this one. Eventually, you will come out of your canyon or your valley and see your next peak you are to climb. And knowing of where you just came from, you know you have the strength to climb the next peak. You won't get to the peak on the next day or maybe the next day after that, but because of your suffering, you know it has made you strong enough for your next challenge. A little older, a little wiser, and a little stronger. But again, you look back knowing the suffering you went through was not to break you, but to make you stronger.
We made it. What was the time for on the trail?
10 hours and 54 minutes. 10 hours and 54 minutes.
It was gnarly. My feet are just done. So, would I do this again? Yes, I definitely would. So, I'm dead. Typically, in your backpack, you have a lot of things. Basically, what you're going to need for that day's hike, that adventure. So, you're carrying food, water, radios, maps, camera gear. But you get the point. We're often carrying things that we worry about within the trail, like I'm going to get hungry. What am I going to eat? I'm going to get thirsty. What am I going to drink? I need to protect myself from this bear. Well, how am I going to do that? Or there's a pretty cabin and I need to take a photo of it. And because your backpack is so weighed down by all of the things that you're worrying about within the trail, your walk, your trail, your hike, it becomes harder. The way I see it is that we actually end up carrying a lot of today's worries in our metaphorical backpack. Where will I sleep? Where will I eat? How will I make my money? Along with the laundry list of all of the other anxieties that we have with this world. These are all great things to strategize and plan for, but we end up unhealthily worrying about them. However, if there's a way that we can lay down our metaphorical backpack and walk freely. Although don't set your actual backpack down and hike without it because you actually need the stuff that's in it. One of my biggest inspirations of living is Jesus. Being a follower, I like to study how he lived, and if you really think about it, he's kind of a hiker himself. In Matthew 6:25 through 34, he actually mentions that we are not to worry about anything. Don't be anxious about anything, for your heavenly Father knows that you need such things. He even mentions that he cares for the sparrows, which as a kid I thought, it's like, oh nice, he cares for the sparrows. Like, they're outside, you know, they're pets, they're really cute. But back in Jesus's time, they would actually keep them and sell them at a discounted price if you buy them in bulk and eat them. So basically today's version of the $4.99 chicken from Costco. What a deal, by the way. And then later in chapter 11, we are actually told about how his yoke is easy and his burden is light. And we often mistranslate this verse to mean that our life is going to be easy. Our challenges are going to be light. We're going to coast through the seas of life and have absolutely no problem, only blessings, only favor, always getting God's provision. And we oftentimes think provision is his money, which is so far away from the truth. So we often think whenever the trail gets hard, we're going to get plucked off of the trail back to the safety of the trailhead, or even to the peak and enjoy the view because we are told his yoke is easy and his burden is light. It's actually quite the opposite. And unfortunately, this is a hard truth to swallow. He's actually offering to take our pack and walk with us. But oftentimes when it starts to get challenging, we fall on the trail, start wailing, "Why God, why me?" All the while, Jesus is right next to us, waiting to take our pack as we lay it down by his feet. Once we set down our pack, we won't be wished away to the peak or to safety or to nirvana. We'll be able to walk the trail and enjoy the challenges in the weird way that we can enjoy them, but a little lighter, guided, and less alone. Whenever I reach a peak, I never see anyone get to the peak, and once they hit the very top of the peak, they completely forget about that peak and just start running down to the next peak that they go to. So why do we treat the peaks of life the same way? You get married, you finally graduate high school or college, you get that job, you get that house. But then the very next day, you think, okay, what's next? Whenever I hike, I make sure I plan tons of time for me to sit on the peak, eat a squished PB&J and my trail snacks, and look out and enjoy the view and ask myself, what do you notice?